As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channel. Apologize for the technical difficulties. We're underway in game two. Thus far, there's one out in the inning as Cooper Loyal sits on first base for the Geneva Red Wings. He walked in the last batter, and now Andrew Eppinger is up at the plate. As that pitch in for a strike, counts at 2-1. Tonight's starting pitcher in this game is Angelo Deere for the Pilots in game two of the doubleheader against the Geneva Red Wings. And in game one, the first no-hitter in Pilots history, Jack Gannon, goes the distance. 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, no hits. Jack Gannon, he'll be up at some point during the game for an interview. We'll talk to him as he is the first Pilot in program history with a no-hitter. So Jack Gannon throws the no-hitter. Eppinger at the plate. 3 balls, 1 strike to count. Pickoff attempt will keep Loyal close over there at first. As Deere walked Brandon Jelpe, the first batter of the inning, and then he was caught stealing on a pickoff attempt from Deere. 1-3-4-6, the official scoring on the caught stealing. And another walk, so 3 straight walks for Angelo Deere to start game 2 of this doubleheader, and that'll bring up Ethan Swidler for the Red Wings. So Swidler will step in with 1 gone, runners on first and second for the Red Wings. Angelo Deere on the mound. Coming set. The first pitch to Swidler. Swung on, and that one hit deep out into left field. Underneath it and making the grab is the left fielder, Justin DiMartino, making the play for the out. And there's 2 away, as that'll now bring up the Rutgers Scarlet Knight, Jason Shockley, coming up to the dish now out of the Big Ten. Shockley batting 181 on the summer for the Red Wings. Deere coming set. And the pitch taken for a strike. Count is at 0-1. Don't forget, Landon White in that 13-2 victory that the Pilots had on June 30th went 6 2/3 innings. So the last 2 starters for the Pilots to go against these Red Wings have been pretty dominant. Angelo coming set. The 0-1 pitch to Shockley. Misses outside. That one's going to get to the backstop past Payne, as both runners will advance on the wild pitch. So there'll be runners on second and third with 2 outs. That one taken for a strike. The count's at 1-2, and the Red Wings dugout not happy with the call. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. And head coach Dan Munn has had enough. He's coming down to talk with the home plate umpire. And he's right in the umpire's face, letting him hear it. Dan Munn is chest to chest with the home plate umpire. I imagine he is not very happy after his team was no hit in game 1 of this doubleheader. And he will stay in the game. Amazing that he was not tossed for that. Almost any other umpire would have likely tossed him. And you have to imagine the umpire, that pitch was not a strike. But you have to imagine that the umpire understands that he missed that call. So as Deer comes set, the 1-2. Swung on and popped foul. So we'll do the 1-2 again. So a lot of firsts. Jack Gannon throwing the first no-hitter in program history, and Dan Munn, the first coach I've ever seen go chest to chest with an umpire, screaming in his face and not get tossed. Deer coming set. The 1-2 delivery. Swung on, and that one hit out into left field. Justin DiMartino can't track it down. That one gets to the wall. 1 run will score. Actually, both runs score. It's a 2 RBI double for Shockley. As that will now bring up Parker Walsh. So Parker Walsh stepping in. Red Wings now lead 2-0. In the top of the first inning of game 2 of this doubleheader. Pilots improved to 5-15 after that win. Red Wings dropped to 5-14. So a win here would give the Pilots the edge in standings-wise over the Red Wings. That one skied into deep left field. As that one goes foul and over the fence for Parker Walsh. As he steps in, batting .212 on the summer coming into this game. Deer coming set. The 0-1 pitch. Bunt as Parker Walsh laid that one down right in front of the dish. As Payne throws down. So scored that one a 1-3 ground out. Nick Payne, 2-3 ground out, and Nick Payne throws out Parker Walsh. Heading to the bottom of the second. 2-0 Red Wings lead. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. So we're back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. It's Frankie DiMartino leading things off for the Pilots in the bottom of the first inning. 2-0 lead. Red Wings strike first in game 2 of this doubleheader. As DiMartino will step in for the Pilots from Hofstra University. Quickly calling time. And Tatsunori Ngeshi awaits on deck for the Pilots. Behind him, Michael Mugen in the hole. First pitch, misses for a ball. Counts at 1-0. Frankie DiMartino batting .217 coming into this game for the Pilots. That one swung on and dribbled down the first base line. DiMartino got a late jump out of the box, and the second baseman goes underneath his glove. That's going to be an E4. And DiMartino will be in there at first base. As that will now bring up Tatsunori Ngeshi. As Tatsunori is going to come up to the plate now for the Pilots. As Tatsu will step in. That one bounced, and that one will hit to the backstop. That'll be a wild pitch. DiMartino advances to second. As the Pilots' fastest base runner, one of the fastest, Ethan Fulton on the mound for the Geneva Red Wings here. As Tatsunori Ngeshi will step back in. One ball, no strikes. Ethan Fulton coming in with a 13.5 ERA. And thankfully for the Red Wings, starting off game 2 with a bang. Likely have to imagine there was some frustration involved in that. After being no hit in game 1. Tatsu steps back in. 2-0 the count from Fulton, the 2-0 pitch. Fastball right down the middle. Counts at 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, in and out. As Tatsunori Ngeshi will step back in. The 2-1, high and away, counts at 3-1 now. 3 balls, 1 strike, no outs. And waiting on deck is the dangerous hitting Michael Mugen. Behind him in the hole, Frankie DiMartino's brother, Justin DiMartino. Frankie DiMartino sits on second base for the Pilots right now. 3-1, swung on and smoked in right field. And that one will kick foul. Tatsu just got underneath that one. As that one hit foul. Counts now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and no outs. Tatsunori Ngeshi attends Middle Tennessee State University, the Division I program, and Conference USA. As he steps in, batting .200 on the summer thus far for the Pilots, but not really as known for his bat as much as he is for his fielding. He's been lights out playing first base for the Pilots this summer. The payoff pitch misses high and away outside. So, a walk for Tatsunori Ngeshi, as that will bring up Michael Mugen. Michael Mugen from Southeast Missouri State walking up to the dish for the Pilots now. So Tatsu on first, Frankie DiMartino on second, and Michael Mugen steps in to face Ethan Fulton here. On deck is Justin DiMartino. Mugen steps in, batting .324 for the Pilots. First pitch missed for a ball. Counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, no outs. Michael Mugen steps back in to face Ethan Fulton. Fulton comes set. The 1-0. Taken for a strike on the inner half of the plate. Counts at 1-1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike, and no outs. Justin DiMartino, dangerous hitting as well. Batting .342 awaits on deck. Second on the team in batting averages, DiMartino. That one fouled off into the backstop. Counts at 1-2 now. Pilots have 5 batters over 300 in batting average on the summer thus far. And 4 others not too far behind, batting in the 270 range to 290. 1 ball, 2 strike. The 1-2 pitch to Mugen. That one's fanned at into center field. Underneath it is the center fielder who makes the play, as that's Parker Walsh out there who makes the out. As that will be the first out of the inning. That'll now bring up Justin DiMartino. DiMartino coming into this one with 4 doubles, 4 RBI. He's 13 for 38. Plays his college baseball at Farmingdale State University. As he will step back in. Runner goes. DiMartino is going to slide in safely at third. He's actually going to be called out. And Daniel Steve's going to come out and chat with the field umpire. Looked like DiMartino was safe by quite a bit. And just like that, DiMartino caught stealing 2-5, but looked like he was well ahead of the tag. So umpires struggling in game 2 here of this doubleheader. And now there's 2 outs. Justin DiMartino will step back in. That one swung on and hit to the third baseman, who will make the play with ease and throw on to first and actually throw it away. That one's going to get all the way to the wall. They're going to wave in Tatsunori Ngeshi. He's coming home. The throw in, not in time. He slides in safely. So in E5, Tatsu comes around to score, and it's now a 1-2 ball game. As that will now bring up Harris McReynolds for the Pilots.
No. Don't worry about that. Justin.
As he will step in. So clarifying that last play, Justin DiMartino reached base on an E5. And then Tatsunori Ngeshi came around to score. So it's a 1-2 ball game now. And the count is at 2-1 to Harris McReynolds. And on the E5, DiMartino advanced to second. So the count is now at 3-1 to Harris McReynolds, who's at the plate. The 3-1 pitch misses high and away. So a walk with 2 outs. And the Pilots just keep cruising along. That'll bring up Jack Archimone now. As Jack Archimone's coming up to the plate. So Jack Archimone coming up to the dish now for the Pilots with runners on first and second. And 2 outs. So Archimone steps in. That one misses outside. The count is at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes to Jack Archimone, the University of Richmond commit from Trumbull, Connecticut. That one misses high and away. Counts at 2-0 now. So 2 balls, no strikes, and 2 outs. A walk here would walk the bases loaded for the dangerous hitting Michael Flaherty, who awaits on deck. Two 2-0 the count. As Jack Archimone steps back in. 2 balls, no strikes, and 2 outs. Runners on first and second. The pitch. That one swung on a hit down the first base line right to the first baseman, who lost it for a second and will flip to the pitcher, who steps on. Lucky play there for the Red Wings, as they almost had another error. Scored that one a 3-1 ground out. The Pilots put on 1 run on no hits, 2 errors, heading to the top of the second inning. 2-1 score. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio on the Red Wings and Pilots YouTube channels. So we are back here at historic Colburn Park. 2-1 your score. Top of the second inning will be Wyatt Patchett leading things off, the designated hitter for the Red Wings here tonight. He's coming in batting 166. Hometown kid out of Geneva, New York. And I'm joined by the no-hit bid, the first no-hitter in Pilots program history, Jack Gannon. 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, a big 0 in the hit column for the Red Wings. What was going through your mind out there the whole game, Jack?
It felt good early. Was able to locate all 4 pitches today. Felt pretty good. And just lots of good plays behind me. Obviously, you can't do it yourself. Guys came up big behind me, and it was nice to get a win.
Definitely nice to get a win. And with the win, the Pilots pick up their 5th win of the summer.
We're getting hot, Frenchie. I'm telling you.
Pilots are hot, and certainly you guys have played exceptionally well against the Doubledays and Red Wings this summer. But you have a lot of games to make up against those teams.
Yeah, we got a lot of
second half of
Geneva
the season here in the month of July. So I got to ask you, I've never been in a situation where I've been throwing a no-hitter, unfortunately. Does it start to go through your mind as you're getting up there? I mean,
today I pregame even. I knew it was going to be a hot day. So I was just coming in. I was just thinking about having some fun. We're playing a kids game, right? Let's just go out, have some fun, see what happens. And lately, sometimes you just get a hit that just find a hole. It just didn't happen today, which was lucky enough. But just having some fun, and things went the right way.
As Wyatt Patchett went down on strikes. So there's one away. That'll bring up Jeremy Mangiamelli, the third baseman, who is 0 for 1, batting 125 on the summer. So I got to ask you, in the 6th inning, before going on the 7th inning, you were at 97 pitches, didn't even know you were going to go back in or not. You head walk, the bases loaded, and then you get that monster strikeout to get out of the inning with 2 outs, bases loaded jam. I think you said, "I'm him." Is that what you said? Or if you didn't say something that was PG, that's okay. You can keep that to yourself. But I thought you said, "I'm him" out coming off the field.
I
But
did not say I'm him. I should have said I'm him. No, it was just let's go. Normal stuff. A couple explicit words as well. But, yeah, it was a big out. I shouldn't have walked the bases loaded. If we're going to be honest, can't really do that. The sun got to me a little bit there. But, yeah, it was a big moment. I'm very thrilled. It was their 4-hole. He's been hitting well. It was a big out.
Swidler is their team leader in batting average.
Yeah, you can tell he's got a good swing.
So, Jack Gannon, the first no-hitter in Pilots program history. Congratulations.
Thank you.
As Jeremy Mangiamelli goes down on strikes as well. Back-to-back strikeouts for Angelo Deere.
Coming back. Good job, Angelo.
That will now bring up John Aller. So the first one in the books, and hopefully the first of many for your career. If there are any coaches or scouts listening out there, Jack is actually in the transfer portal at the current moment. So
Yes, sir.
certainly bolstering up that resume.
Yeah, that definitely won't hurt. But, yeah, I mean, it's always fun. Go out there and compete, no matter what happens. But when stuff like that goes on behind you and while you're pitching, it's a blast. It's what you play for, really.
As the 0-1 taken for a strike. Gage was kind of giving me some crap in the locker room. I was actually doing the countdown, I think, right around the 4th or 5th inning. So I was kind of preemptive of it. But
He told me.
thankfully I didn't jinx it, as that one's popped up. The shortstop underneath it, who makes the play, as that's Flaherty at short.
Good
For the
inning,
final
Angelo.
out. Jack will join me for the bottom half of the second. Pilots up to bat. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and both the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. the bottom of the second inning, game 2 of this doubleheader. Pilots took game 1, 1-0, courtesy of the no-hit bid from Jack Gannon, who joins me in the broadcast booth yet again. It's kind of been your second home away from the field,
Yeah,
so to speak.
I've always loved doing stuff like this, and this is a great outlet for me to do it and get into it, because I would not hate doing this for a living. This is fun.
Certainly. And you've got the voice for it. You're already halfway there.
Yeah.
And you know the game. There you go. You're 3/4 of the way there. As that one curveball just drops in.
Yeah,
that one looked a little
We
low.
were just talking about it off air, but the defense behind me today was brilliant, huh, Frenchie?
Yeah, Paulie Goodness made a really great grab out there in right field.
Yeah.
Towards the back half, I believe it was like 5th or 6th inning, one of the last outs of that inning. He hustled for a play as that one's hit to the shortstop, thrown over to first, a 6-3 ground out for Michael Flaherty, and there's one away. Great throw there from the shortstop.
Good double play in the first. Mugen had a nice catch in the fourth and left, too. Backtracking a little bit. Guys were behind me today. It was fun.
As that will now bring up Tristan Head for the Pilots.
Yeah, but going back to what you said before the break, yeah, Gage told me about how you had the countdown going.
Yeah,
He was all upset.
Hey, it worked. That's all I gotta say. So I didn't jinx it.
I wasn't too worried about it. I wanted to get a win, but he told me that afterwards, and it made me chuckle.
That certainly is the cherry and sprinkles on top of the win, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, people act like they don't know, but you have to know. I was out there and going into the 7th, I thought about it. It's in the back of your head. You try to block it out as much as possible, but I was counting down from 6.
Well, you were so focused on the no-hitter that you actually had to ask me how many strikeouts you had. It was 7 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's a pretty good number as well.
As that one's bounced in the dirt to Tristan Head. Counts at 1-2 now. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out to Tristan Head, the University of Virginia commit. He played some good shortstop, too, in game 1.
Great game. Yeah, he's been hitting the ball very hard lately, too, Frenchie.
I know that one, their left fielder, Ryan Knight, has been playing really well out there, especially in game 1.
Robbed him.
He made a bunch of great plays out there in left field. I thought for sure the first at-bat for Tristan, which was a line out to Knight in left field, it looked like it was going to find the gap and be extra bases for
I
sure.
thought we were scoring a run.
He made that diving grab.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened all summer to this kid. He has been hammering baseballs. As I say it, he rips a single into right.
So Tristan Head picking up another hit for the Pilots, and that'll bring up Nick Payne.
That's what he does. He's been hitting the ball so hard. He's got one of our best swings, and he's a switch. Just crazy. You should see me try to swing a bat left-handed, Frenchie.
Yeah, you should see me try and swing a bat at all. It's not too pretty.
Speaking of swinging a bat, I made a deal with Coach at the beginning
That
of
is
the
true.
year.
I remember that deal where you
And,
said I need an at-bat if I get a no-hitter.
I've been peppering him with getting an at-bat, and I said, hey, he goes, complete game shutout. You can get an at-bat. So it's coming soon. I'm getting one at-bat.
So fortunate enough, though, it was only 7 innings.
Yeah, I would have been.
I will throw that out there.
No,
Just
complete.
to make sure that everyone
I was
knows.
thinking about it because I was like, I got to get a doubleheader game, especially being on a pitch limit for most of my games, which I didn't stick to today, obviously.
But 107 pitches for you, and I'm actually surprised you don't have ice on your arm right now.
Yeah, no ice. I'm not a big ice guy, Frenchie.
No, not a big ice guy.
No, I heat.
You don't follow the rice method?
No, I'm more of a heat guy, and then my mom's a physical therapist, and she's very helpful with a lot of stuff, and it's a lot of heat and a lot of small workouts.
It's rest, ice, compress, elevate, or something like that. I think
Yeah,
that's what it is.
that's not what I do. I've always thought that ice has slowed me down a little.
3-0 count to Nick Payne, who squares the bunt but pulls back. That one's taken for a strike. 3-1 the count with 1 gone.
Tomorrow I will be hurting though, Frenchie.
I'm sure you will.
You won't see me doing much tomorrow. Might go play some golf.
Hey, I think you
That's
deserve
about
to take a day off after that.
Good off day tomorrow, right?
As the 3-1 pitch is taken for a strike. Counts at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, in and out.
You think this is the hottest day of the summer, Frenchie?
It's got to be up there.
Yeah.
It's really hot and muggy, and it's like 7:30? Yeah, 7:31 right now.
You can ask Frankie over there. I had a big jug of water I was dumping on my face and then the back of my head every inning. So it was a lot. I had a big towel. It's probably getting pretty annoying for all the rest of the guys in the dugout.
So Nick Payne works a 1-out walk, and that'll bring up Briggs Loveland, the Emerson College Lion, with runners on first and second. And a chance to tie this game. The tying run at second base and Tristan Head, and the leading run.
I got a good feeling right here.
I do too. You know, Briggs is one of those guys who doesn't really strike out a whole lot. He just hits the ball hard, and unfortunately, he's hit it right at a lot of defenders so far this summer.
Yeah, even in our first scrimmage, I remember him having one of the better swings.
Briggs batting 185, batting out of the left-hand side. He's from Burleson, Texas.
How do you find your way up to Boston, Massachusetts is my question, Frenchie.
That's a good question. That would be a question for Mr. Brigham Loveland.
Yeah, I'm going to have to ask him, huh?
So that one misses for a ball. 2 straight balls to him, and Ethan Fulton in danger of walking the bases loaded. Again, 2-1 your score. We are in the bottom of the second inning.
Just fouled off a bunt there, Frenchie.
As Briggs fouls off a bunt there for the Pilots. Again, you're listening on Figure Lakes 1 radio and the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. As Briggs Loveland will step back in. The 2-1. That one swung on and hit
Get down.
down the line and right, and that one just kicks
Ooh.
foul. That one for sure would have probably been like a triple, at least a double.
That's
But
2 runs right there.
that's
Frenchie.
2 runs
That's
easily.
awesome.
Look at Nick Payne. I mean, it's actually kind of surprising. The way Nick Payne is built, he's a catcher, but that kid is jacked. And I'm telling you, for his size, like you look at him, he looks like he's just stocky, but he can move.
He can move. We have a
He's
lot of
got
guys
speed.
who move. Honestly, there's not many base cloggers on this team.
So 2-2 the count to Briggs Loveland, who I'm assuming the bunt will be off, but you never know. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Curveball got the better of Briggs Loveland as he goes down and strikes for the second out.
That's on us, Frenchie. Said he didn't strike out much. That's on us.
Yeah, that is on me.
Yeah.
So there is the broadcaster's jinx. It caught up to me eventually. As Frankie DiMartino, the Hofstra University baseball member, will step up.
Speaking of fast guys, have you ever seen this kid run?
I have. This is actually Frankie's second season with the Pilots. He played during the 2021 season, the year prior to COVID.
He moves. Like,
And
could be a college track athlete.
I've actually asked a lot of the pitchers when they come up here. He is one of when I talk about great defenders on this team, obviously we have Mugen in left field. The number one guy that you pitchers always bring up is Frankie DiMartino in center field. That, like, they call him, was it the deer or something? Deer in headlights or something?
He on one of his school gloves, he has meet like the Roadrunner.
Oh, the road.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, but he's just like a GPS out there. Anything up in the air, he's getting to pretty easy, Frenchie.
So
It's actually very cool to watch.
1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs to Frankie DiMartino as that one taken at the knees. DiMartino not happy with the call. The strike zone has expanded in game 2 here.
Yeah,
This doubleheader.
I thought-
Obviously, umpires switching roles. One went from the field to behind the dish.
I thought the game 1 guy was very consistent.
Certainly, it was a really narrow game. 1-0 your final score. Runners go. That pitch outside. The throw down is going to catch Tristan Head for the out. So Frankie DiMartino will lead off the top of the third, the bottom of the third, heading to the top of the third inning. 2-1 your score. Red Wings lead the Pilots. We'll be right back on Figure Lakes 1 radio and both the Red Wings and Pilots YouTube channels. So we're back at historic Colburn Park for inning 3 of game 2 of this doubleheader. Top of the third, it will be Casey Burkroff, the extra hitter, leading things off for the Red Wings in the top of the third. They lead the Pilots 2-1, and I'm joined by Jack Gannon yet again here in the broadcast booth, back for another inning with me, Mr. No Hit.
Yeah,
No hitter in game 1.
Frankie?
Great to have you up here.
Yeah, I love being up here.
Burkroff skies that one in. Angelo Deere calls everyone off. Not often you see the pitcher call off everyone, calling the shots off there.
Angelo's doing it himself. I love it. Let's see if he can build on last inning, which was a very quick inning.
As that one, score that one a P1 to Angelo Deere. And there's one away. That'll bring up Brandon Jelpe, the left fielder. He's the first batter in this Red Wings lineup. So back to the top of the order. Angel's got like the little stash going.
Yeah,
he's got like the My Name is Earl stash going. I don't know if you are.
I can't say I know that.
Know that show. Here, I'll have to pull it up and show you a picture of it. That one swung on and fouled off down the line.
Ferreira had the best one.
Yeah, he did. Got rid of it.
Yeah, that's a we had a discussion about that. That was not a fan favorite that he got rid of that. Let's just say a girlfriend came to town.
That's the
little that does look like Angelo a little bit.
My Name is Earl. So Angelo with a little caterpillar on his lip, the mustache. Counts at 0-2, 2 straight strikes to Brandon Jelpe, who walked in the first inning and was caught stealing. That one missed outside. That caught stealing was a wacky one to score. Official scoring on the caught stealing, CS 1-3 to 4-6 in that pickle in the first inning.
It was the pickoff.
Yep.
Yeah, Angelo's got a great move. How many pickoffs does he have this year? 4 or 5, huh?
Oh, let's see.
I'm happy if I get 1 or 2 a year, and he does it once a game, it seems like.
Pickoffs are not actually a recorded stat on here, which I don't see.
I'm telling you, from what I remember, there's at least 4 of them. The kid is just a monster.
I know he had a couple against Jamestown.
Yeah, he just does it like it's nothing. Guy gets on first, it's almost like there's a lefty up there.
2-2 the count to Brandon Jelpe. The pitch. That one swung on and missed. The heater blown right by him for the second out of the inning. So since giving up those first 2 runs in the first inning, Angelo Deere has been solid.
I mean, Frenchie, he's got 1 hit. He's doing great.
As that will now bring up the shortstop number 5, Cooper Loyal. So far for Deere, a 28-16 strike to ball ratio.
That's superb.
3 strikeouts already in 2 2/3 inning of work. 1 hit.
Good Nick Payne framing that ball right there.
Counts at 1-0. To the batter, Cooper Loyal, batting .300 for the Geneva Red Wings. Certainly up towards the top of their statistics. 1-0. Big swing and a big miss from Loyal. The count's at 1-1 now.
How are their stats, Frenchie, as a team?
As a team, the Geneva Red Wings bat .181, which is not the greatest. That one taken for a strike, and you hear some cheers from Pilots fans. And as a team, the Pilots bat .243. So significant difference there between the batting averages between the Pilots and the Red Wings.
That's why the record doesn't always prove what's going on, Frenchie. I feel like we should have a much better record.
Definitely should have, and I talked about this on the broadcast earlier on. 13 of the the broadcast yesterday when the Double Days took on the Geneva Red Wings in the 3-1 victory for Geneva. 13 of your guys' 15 losses by 3 runs or less. That is certainly, that's actually crazy to think about. 3 runs or less.
That's what we're talking about. We just need to get in those close games. We need to find a way to get like even half of those, and we're a 500 team. Look at that
one framed perfectly on the outer half of the plate. Angelo Deere, another strikeout to his total. He's got 4 through 3 innings. Heading to the bottom of the third, Frankie DiMartino will lead things off. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and both the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. As we're back here on Finger Lakes One Radio on the Newark Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels, Frankie DiMartino back at the plate after Tristan Head was caught stealing 2-5 to end the bottom of the second. Pilots stranded 2 runners in that last inning as that one misses outside. Counts at 1-0 to Frankie DiMartino, who is 0 for 1 on the night. Reached on an E4 back in the first inning and was caught stealing 2-5 on a questionable call at third. That one taken for a strike. Counts at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and no outs. As DiMartino steps back in, that one misses low. Counts at 2-1 now. 2 balls, 1 strike, and no outs. And waiting on deck is Tatsunori Ngeshi for the Pilots. DiMartino batting .217 coming into this contest. The pitch swung on, and that one hit out there into left field, shallow left field, as the shortstop gets it right on the fringe of the grass there and makes the play. As that is Cooper Loyal at short. And that'll bring up Tatsunori Ngeshi for the Pilots. Walked in his first plate appearance for the Pilots. As Tatsu steps in. Walked and scored. He was the Pilots' first run. Slid in under the tag to make this a 2-1 ball game back in the bottom of the first inning. So Tatsunori Ngeshi steps in. That one misses as well. Counts at 2-0 to Tatsu. In the bottom of the third inning, 2-1 Red Wings lead over the Pilots. That one taken for a strike. Count is at 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, and 1 out to Tatsunori Ngeshi. Again, we're in the bottom of the third inning. That one swung on and popped up left side as that one kicks foul. As actually that one hit fair. They're going to say Tatsu's safe at first. Neither field umpire made a call until Tatsu was just standing on first. So that one just trickled down and dropped fair behind third base in the grass, shallow left field. So it's a 1-out single for Tatsunori Ngeshi. And that'll now bring up Michael Mugen. Dangerous bat for the Pilots. Mugen coming into this one with a .324 batting average. Will face Ethan Fulton. Looks like there is someone up and going. Tatsu's heading towards second. The throw in not in time as he slides in safely to second base. A stolen base for Tatsunori Ngeshi. And he's now in scoring position with Michael Mugen at the dish. The throw from Jason Shockley not in time. Tonight's catcher for the Red Wings. It's Griffin Snyder, number 27 from Cheektowaga, New York, and plays his college baseball at Hobart College, warming up in the pen for the Red Wings. That pitch missed. Counts at 1-1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out to Michael Mugen. The 1-1. That one swung on and roped into center field. That one's going to get down. They're going to send Tatsunori Ngeshi home. Here comes Tatsu, the throw in the plate. Well in time. So score that one, a 9-1-2 throw out for Tatsunori Ngeshi. But Michael Mugen does single. As that will now bring up Justin DiMartino for the Pilots. Unfortunate break there for the Pilots. That would have been a tie game. Likely, probably shouldn't have sent Tatsunori from third, as the throw was well in time. Great job from the Red Wings center fielder Parker Walsh to hit the cutoff man, the pitcher Ethan Fulton, and then throw to Shockley at home. That one swung on first pitch, swinging out into center field. Underneath it is Walsh, who makes the play. So in F8, the Pilots had 2 base runners. They strand 1, heading to the top of the 4th inning. 2-1 your score. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. I'm Kyle French, joined by Jack Polowitz, the St. Bonaventure Bonnie, joining me out of the Atlantic 10, and little asterisks next to the player of the game for you for game one. Obviously hard to give you the player of the game when you have a guy throw a no-hitter, but without your RBI single, the Pilots don't win 1-0 that game. So certainly turning things around. So what do you got to say about that RBI single? What was going through your mind at the plate?
Just the previous at bat, I chased I think 2 real bad pitches earlier, and I was coming into that next at bat. I was like, he honestly is just leaving his fastball right there, and he's not doing really anything special with that slider.
As Eppinger hits that one down into left field, they're going to say that one's foul. As the home plate umpire calling that one foul. So 0-1 the count. So St. Bonaventure, well, this will be your first season playing at Bonnie's, right?
No,
Or
so
second?
this will, I guess, technically playing wise, will be my second. I'm going in my junior year academically, but I'm a redshirt sophomore now. So I just finished my redshirt freshman year. But fun enough, the third base coach for Geneva he's our starting catcher there, Jackson DeJohn. Shout out
Jackson
to him.
DeJohn.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually was told that Brandon Jelpy is high school teammates with you. So
yeah.
little, former teammates in high school now turned rivals against one of the biggest rivalries in PGCBL between the Pilots and the Geneva Red Wings, only about 20 minutes apart.
For sure.
Every
time Jelp comes into the box whenever I'm catching, I always got something to say to him. So it's always good to see him, though. I like seeing all my buddies, around it. Like if I'm playing with them from Bonaventure or just kids I played with in the past, playing them in the summer is always really cool.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Angelo Deere coming set. The 2-2 delivery. Swung on, and that one roped. Diving play not made by Michael Flaherty at short as Eppinger has a leadoff single for the Red Wings. As that will now bring up the first baseman, number 32, Ethan Swidler. So I have to imagine you guys must have been pretty good in high school if you have 2 guys.
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly, because his senior year was COVID, and that team, a little fun stat fact for that team, we got to play 2 games before the COVID ended our season. So we went 2-0 in those games, and we scored 52 runs and let up 6.
52 runs and let up 6. That is actually very insane.
Yeah, but I think if we played that season, we're definitely having a shot at the state title. That's one of the.
And what high school was this? This was in Pennsylvania.
This was Pittsburgh Central Catholic.
Pittsburgh Central Catholic, and I'm not sure how you guys do classes down there. How do you class the schools by size?
1 through 6A. So 1A being the smallest, 6A being the biggest, and we were in 6A.
Okay,
all boys.
So 6A.
Yeah.
As that will now bring up Jason Shockley, the catcher. Ethan Swidler was hit in the arm by that pitch, so runners on first and second for the Red Wings with no outs. Shockley had that 2 RBI double in his last at bat, which gave the Red Wings the lead. That one's popped up and out of play. Count is at 0-1.
Jello's throwing pretty well today. I definitely think he'll be able to work out of this jam, but he is throwing pretty well. Aside from some control issues in that first inning, I think he's started to settle in real well for us.
Yeah, honestly, without the walks, he would have gotten out the inning unscathed. As that one's hit out into left field. They're going to send the runner home. The throw into the plate. Not in time. That one gets to the backstop. Shockley will advance to second on the E7 from Justin DiMartino. So that score is now 3-1.
I think that was just a hit right up there. And it just got right in between that hole.
So that's a base hit for Jason Shockley. And Shockley advances to second base on the E7 from Justin DiMartino. As the batter at the plate, Parker Wall steps in. That one's going to hit him as well. So now the base is loaded.
Right about now, I wish I didn't speak on his control.
So now the base is loaded with no outs, and Nick Payne going to come out and chat with his starting pitcher, Angelo Deere. As there's going to be a mound visit now between Daniel Steve and his pitcher. 3-1 your score in the top of the fourth inning. Daniel Steve chatting with Angelo Deere. Bases loaded. Deere finds himself in a jam. The mound meeting is dispersed, as it looks like there is someone up and warming in the Pilots bullpen. Gage Boatman down there catching for him, whoever that is, up and stretching. It's going to be Colt Bartling, number 35, it looks like. Was warming up towards the end of last game for the Pilots. So Angelo Deere coming back on the mound. Bases loaded. The pitch. Curveball misses. Outside, counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, and no outs. In the bottom of the fourth, again, this game will only be 7 innings long. Game 2 of this doubleheader against the Geneva Red Wings. Deere coming set yet again. The 1-0 pitch from Angelo. Swung on fastball, fouled out of play. Counts at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and no outs. As Wyatt Patchett, the designated hitter, will step back in from Geneva, New York. One ball, 1 strike. 1-1 pitch. Misses inside. Count is at 2-1. And again, I'm joined by Jack Polowitz from St. Bonaventure University. What's been your favorite moment of the season so far?
Gotta think. I'll do one on the field and one off the field. One off the field, just hanging out with the guys. We like to go to the lake quite a bit, so just hanging out with them.
Yeah, I've been down there a few times with you guys when
Yeah.
I'm not busy working everywhere.
And playing some pickleball with them.
Oh, yeah, I was there when you guys were playing the pickleball. As I saw, Anthony Laurinaitis
Oh yeah.
and Tristan Hedder, probably one of the best teams.
Yeah,
I'd say.
me and Nick Payne had a great game against them.
I was there for that game
Yeah.
too. Went down to the wire,
Oh yeah.
back and forth lead switches.
Definitely the game of the summer besides baseball for our team.
3-1 the count to Wyatt Patchett. Bases loaded again. Remember that. That's Angelo Deere stepping back on the mound. The 3-1 pitch. Curveball drops in for a strike. Good pitch there from Angelo. Counts now full, 3-2. And we'll see if the Pilots can get out of this bases loaded jam, only giving up 1 run.
I'd probably say my favorite on-field memory, though, like so far for this season, was our game, I guess, last week-ish at Auburn. That big comeback, that was a fun
Yeah,
game.
you guys were down 9-4 going
Yep,
into
good
the
pitch.
into the 9th inning and came back and won that game. As good pitch there, has Patchett swinging in the dirt. Strikeout swinging for Wyatt Patchett, and that is 1 out now. That'll bring up Jeremy Mangiamelli, the third baseman. 0 for 1 with a strikeout swinging back in the second. So far for Angelo Deere, 5 strikeouts through 3.1 innings of work. That pitch misses outside, counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, and 1 out. Angelo is 2 strikeouts shy of tying Jack Gannon, who threw the no-hitter in the last game for strikeouts.
Okay. No, Jack was definitely dealing last game.
He was so nonchalant about it,
I
though. He
know.
was just up here. He was just so nonchalant about it. He's like, just trying to have fun out there. Like, not at all what you would expect from someone who just threw a no-hitter. Just so down to earth.
For sure. He was.
But that's just how he is, though. He's just so like. I'm like, oh yeah, you play Division I St. Peter's. He's like, yeah, I love baseball.
No, he was keeping it pretty calm and collected in the dugout too. Obviously, no hitter going. No one's really gonna mess up with his vibe. So, but he was still pretty into the game in the dugout.
Squaring to bunt. Nick Payne's going to field that one and touch the runner in fair territory. Good heads-up play from Nick Payne. So it's going to be a fielder's choice. The runner at third base, Ethan Swidler, was caught out. So now there's 2 away. Heads up play from Nick Payne there as the batter, Mangiamelli, squared to bunt, but right in front of the dish. Nick Payne scoops it up and tags Ethan Swither before he can score. There's 2 away. Good play from Nick Payne.
It's definitely an interesting choice with bases loaded. And I think he might have only had 1 strike on him at the time. I don't know, but definitely a good play by Payne.
So 2 unassisted, the official ruling on that. And that brings up John Aller, the second baseman, batting 043 on the summer. So just like that, Angelo Deere has a golden opportunity to get out of this inning with only giving up 1 run and the bases loaded. Interesting turn of events there, and a heads-up play by Nick Payne.
Big play there.
First pitch missed for a ball. Counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, and 2 outs to John Aller as he steps back in. The pitch from Deere. Fastball taken for a strike. Counts at 1-1. And honestly, I feel like you guys have played well enough to probably be leading at this point. Just I feel like the base running this game has been
I agree.
not the greatest.
I think
A couple of different questionable calls sending guys when they feel like they shouldn't have. Like Tatsu should have been held at third there.
I agree. We were saying that down in the dugout, but I think overall, like base running aside, I think like as a whole, we're playing some really good baseball right now.
Certainly. And the whole entire atmosphere, like I feel like even though you guys had struggled earlier on, you went through that really long stretch. I think you guys had lost like 8 or 9 straight games. The attitude never changed. You guys were always like, oh, we'll come around because you guys are a great group of guys and just honestly, probably one of the most talented groups that have been around for the Pilots. It just haven't been able to string together wins, and that attributes to the 13 games losing by 3 runs or less.
For sure.
13 of those 15 losses are by less than 3 runs.
For sure. And Coach Steve he kept like pounding it into our minds. He's like, the ball's gonna start falling our way. We're built to win. And obviously we can see now we're pulling some of these games that were close and losing them at the start.
The 3-1 fastball popped up into right field, shallow right field. Briggs Loveland makes the play. So Angelo Deere gets out of the bases loaded jam, only giving up 1 run. Heading to the bottom half of the 4th, 3-1 your score. I'm Kyle French. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and both the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and both the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. I'm Kyle French. It'll be Harris McReynolds leading things off for the Pilots. In the bottom of the 4th inning. So Harris McReynolds coming up to the dish now. 1-0 the count to him. The 1-0 pitch. Misses outside, counts at 2-0 now to Harris McReynolds. Red Wings lead 3-1. We're here in the bottom of the 4th inning. That one popped foul out of play. So 3-1 the count. 2-1 the count. 3-1 the score. Red Wings lead the Pilots. Scored 1 run. Angelo Deere was able to get out of that bases loaded jam in that last half inning. That one misses high, counts at 3-1. So 3 balls, 1 strike, and no outs to Harris McReynolds. The pitch Misses high as well. And a leadoff walk for Harris McReynolds will head to first. That'll bring up Jack Archimone. So Jack Archimone steps in for the Pilots now, tonight's designated hitter. First pitch to him. First pitch swinging, that one hit out into right field. It's going to be back-to-back base runners for the Pilots and a single, and that'll now bring up Michael Flaherty. So Jack Archimone gets on. So Michael Flaherty stepping up to the dish. 3-1 your score. Pitching visit for Dan Munn and his starting pitcher, Ethan Fulton. With back-to-back runners and the Red Wings in danger. Of making it a tie game, tying run on first base for the Pilots, leading run at the dish, and Michael Flaherty. So pitchers meeting adjourned as Michael Flaherty waiting to step back on for the Pilots. And waiting on deck is Justin DiMartino, the cleanup spot hit, Tristan Head. Dangerous bat, singled in his last plate appearance, waiting on deck. So Big Michael, as they call him, will step in from London, England. First pitch, taken at the knees for a strike. Counts it 0-1 to him. No balls, 1 strike, and no outs. McReynolds on second. Archimone on first. A look from Fulton, the pitch. Swung on a net one, fanned at into center field. That one's going to get down as they're going to hold McReynolds at third. So now the Pilots have back-to-back singles, and the bases are loaded for for Tristan Head. Tristan Head coming up to the plate. The University of Virginia commit. And with the bases loaded, the Pilots looking to get right back into this ball game. A well-placed ball here from Tristan Head could either tie the game or give the Pilots the lead. As Tristan Head steps in, the pitch. That one popped foul. Counts at 0-1. No balls, 1 strike. As Tristan Head will step back in. Nick Payne awaits on deck. Bases loaded. The 0-1 pitch. Misses away, did the fastball. Counts at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and no outs. Again, we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Tristan Head with the bases loaded and a golden opportunity for the Pilots. That one's fouled off. Counts at 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and no outs. Nick Payne awaits on deck for the Pilots. Again, 1 ball, 2 strikes, no outs. Tristan Head steps back in. Fulton with the pitch. Off-speed pitch, misses outside. Counts at 2-2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, no outs. Bases loaded for Tristan Head. And with 1 swing of the bat, the Pilots could either tie or take the lead. Tristan Head steps back in. The 2-2 pitch from Fulton. That one broken bat right at the shortstop who bobbles it and can't make a play. It's going to be an RBI E6 for Tristan Head, as that will now bring up Nick Payne. So Nick Payne coming up to the dish for the Pilots. So 3-2 your score now. And hoping that the home plate umpire is okay. Not sure if a splinter might have got in his eye on that. Not sure if he's okay. The field umpire is going to come and chat with him. Pilots are bringing out some water for him. As we're going to take a quick break while the umpire rejuvenates. We'll be right back. The athletic trainer coming out and chatting with the umpire, making sure he's all right. Appears to be all right. As he's gives the thumbs up, looks like he's all good. So Tristan Head reaches on an E6, hit the ball, a little blooper right at the shortstop, but shattered his bat, and it looked as if a splinter had gotten in the eye of the umpire or some sort of debris. He's okay and back behind the dish. The first pitch swung on and fouled off the catcher Shockley. Counts at 0-1 now. No balls, 1 strike, and no outs. Bases loaded for the Pilots. And Nick Payne at the plate. Waiting on deck is the 10-spot hitter Briggs Loveland, and the top of the order behind Briggs Loveland and Frankie DiMartino. So the Pilots looking to tack on some runs here. The 0-1 pitch taken for a strike, counts at 0-2 now. No balls, 2 strikes, and no outs. Nick Payne from Centenary University in New Jersey will step back in with a chance here for the Pilots. The 0-2 pitch to Payne. That one popped up. Shockley going to get it as that one hits somewhere in the stands at Colburn Park, maybe off the concession stand. So we'll do the 0-2 again. So far for Fulton, 3 innings of work, 5 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, and a 39-33 strike-to-ball ratio. As there is a pitcher down there. Curveball misses high, counts at 1-2. As we mentioned earlier, that's Griffin Snyder from Hobart College warming up. The 1-2 to Payne, taken at the knees for a strike. First out of the inning, bases are still loaded, but that will now bring up Briggs Loveland. So Briggs Loveland coming up to the dish for the Pilots with the bases loaded and a chance to give the Pilots the lead here with 1 swing of the bat. The Emerson College Lion will step in. Briggs Loveland steps in for the Pilots. 0 for 1 thus far on the night with a strikeout swinging. First pitch, missed for a ball. Counts at 1-0. Batting 185 coming in this game. And a Pilots uni. The 1-0 misses outside. Counts at 2-0 now. 2 balls, no strikes, and 1 out. In the bottom of the 4th inning, Briggs Loveland will step back in from Burleson, Texas. 3-2 your score. That one swung on and missed. Big cut there from Loveland. Counts at 2-1 to Briggs. That one misses high. Counts at 3-1 now, and nowhere to put Briggs Loveland as a walk here. Would walk in a run with Frankie DiMartino and the rest of the top of the order waiting on deck. The 3-1 pitch from Fulton. Swung on, and that one hit out into center field, right center field. Underneath it is Walsh, who makes the play. The throw into the plate. Not in time. It's a sacrifice fly and an RBI. Archimone comes in to score for the Pilots. As that will now bring up Frankie DiMartino for the Pilots with runners on the corners. Frankie DiMartino coming up, 3-3 tie game now for the Pilots, courtesy of the sacrifice fly with an RBI from Briggs Loveland. So Frankie DiMartino stepping up. For 2 thus far on the night. Reached in the first inning, though, on an E4 and was caught stealing 2-5 on that questionable call. So runners on the corners. First pitch to him misses high for a ball. Counts at 1-0. Michael Flaherty sitting on third base, 90 feet away. The go-ahead run for the Pilots. And on first base is Tristan Head. The pitch. Swung on and hit. That one hit out into right field, and that one's going to get down. It's an RBI single for Frankie DiMartino, and the Pilots take a 4-3 lead over the Geneva Red Wings. As that will now bring up Tatsunori Ngeshi. And it looks as if Ethan Fulton's night will be done. We will wait a second for verification. As it will, he's handing the ball over to head coach Dan Munn. So Ethan Fulton's night is over. The call to the pen will verify that is Griffin Snyder after this. We'll be right back on Figure Lakes 1 Radio and the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. Back at Colburn Park. Tatsunori Ngeshi coming on to pitch for the Pilots. That one's going to get a wild pitch all the way to the backstop. As that is Griffin Snyder on the mound for the Red Wings. Number 27. So Snyder coming on to pitch for them. That one misses, and that's going to get to the backstop. They're going to send the runner home. The throw in, not in time. A wild pitch, and Tristan Head comes around to score, and it's a 5-3 game. So Tristan Head scores. Pilots take a 5-3 lead. They've scored 4 runs in this bottom half of the 4th inning. Pilots are hot as they have been on an absolute tear this inning. Looking to win back-to-back games today and jump Geneva in the standings. As Tatsunori Ngeshi steps back in, and Frankie DiMartino sits 90 feet away now. That one taken for a strike. Counts at 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. As Tatsunori Ngeshi will step back in. Awaiting on deck is Michael Mugen. Right in the heart of this Pilots order, the 2-1 pitch. Misses high. Above the letters, 3-1 your count. 3 balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. As Tatsunori Ngeshi, the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raider, will step back in. The 3-1 swung at in the dirt, I believe. As they're going to say he did go around. As the home plate umpire couldn't see. Field umpire correcting them, though. Counts now full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Full count. Tatsunori Ngeshi steps back in. Griffin Snyder on the mound for the Geneva Red Wings. That one swung on and popped foul out of play. We'll do the 3-2 again. Griffin Snyder has a 5.78 and 4.2 innings of work. 5.78 ERA and 4.2 innings of work for the Red Wings thus far this summer. And Tatsunori Ngeshi has the chance to stretch this Pilots lead to 3 if he can send a ball past the defense here. The 3-2. Swung on, and that one hit out into right field. And diving and making the play is the right fielder, as that is Andrew Eppinger out there in right field making the play, but not before the Pilots put up 4 runs in the bottom half of the 4th. They lead the Geneva Red Wings 5-3. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and both the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. Back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and both the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. I'm joined by Alex Deutsch, Geneva Red Wings pitcher, joining me on NewarkPilots.tv and the Red Wings YouTube channels, broadcasting it for both. I was there for the game yesterday, had a chance to interview you then. This is kind of like your second home. You're a lot like Jack Gannon in Game 1. He came up after the first game, but always joining me in the broadcast booth, and always a pleasure to have you, Alex.
Yeah, thank you. It's a lot of fun to be here. I look forward to it every time.
So, I mean, your stuff was humming in game one. Unfortunate ending. It's a 1-0 game. I mean, what can you do? The other guy throws a no-hitter. I mean, can't really fault you too much for that.
There's not much you can do there. That was a fun game to watch from the other side.
Fun game to watch indeed, and certainly trying to turn things around here in game 2 are the Red Wings.
Certainly, a lot of ball game left. Hoping to put a few more runs up there.
So 0-2 the count, and I'd have to say this is probably one of the hottest nights of the summer it's been thus far. What do you think?
Yeah, that was that was a hot one, game one for sure. It was not the most enjoyable to be out there, but got through it.
I have to imagine your arm's probably feeling awful right now, huh?
Honestly, the heat helped it. My arm felt great today, but it was just it was a sluggish day for sure. I'm sure both sides feel the same.
So mentally, like as a pitcher, and it's just the weather's obviously not cooperating as Casey Burcroft goes down on strikes there for the first out. And they'll now bring up Brandon Jelpe, the left fielder. So obviously, being a pitcher out there in the sun, being down on you, it's humid as heck, humid as can be. I mean, how do you mentally prepare yourself for that? And, every inning going back out there and still, producing at a high level.
For sure, and I'm sure Jack would probably agree with me here, but you're really fighting yourself every inning. You're just fighting yourself to not, really go to sleep, pass out from the heat. You're just trying to get balls over the plate as best you can because of how hot it is,
Well, it's a lot harder to be a starting pitcher than it is a relieving pitcher. I mean, it's a marathon, not a sprint, if you think about it. A lot of these relievers who, throw so hard, as that one's blooped out into center field.
For me. Yeah.
As that one's going to hit off the glove of Michael Flaherty. But that will be a one-out single for Brendan Jelpe.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely a marathon level as a starter. I mean, you're going out there, you need to last 4, 5, 6 innings, give your team a chance to win.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things I take away from all this, the pitchers, I feel like for the most part, I mean, obviously you're a collective team as a whole, but I feel like for the most part, pitchers and position players are kind of separated for the most part, if that makes sense.
No, for sure.
Because
Yeah.
they both have their separate routines. The position players play most of the days throughout the week, and pitchers typically, I mean, unless you're like a genuine reliever, typical closer, you only throw once a week if you're a pitcher, or twice a week if you had that kind of longevity. But I feel like I hear most of it from pitchers. All these guys are talking about velo, but starters have to consistently throw in the 80 to 90 range consistently. I mean, you could be a reliever and throw 96, but you can't do it for the whole game. You can do it for an inning or two,
No, for sure. Yeah, it's and it's definitely tough. You have to be able to, you're basically a track runner. Yeah, you got to be able to pace yourself. You can't blow it all out in the first inning because then you have to go 4 more innings with nothing behind you.
The 2-0 pitch is lined foul down the third baseline and towards the Geneva Red Wings bullpen. Counts at 2-1. So I got to ask you, after game one, obviously no one wants to get no hit. What was the speech in the locker room from head coach Dan Munn? Just trying to prep you guys for the next game, shake it off?
Yeah, just about. I mean, there wasn't really enough time for a speech because you only have 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes between games, of course.
So really it's just, shake it, go get them next time. Go get this game. Got to be able to have a quick memory in baseball.
And striking right away. You guys scored 2 runs in the first inning there.
Yeah,
obviously you kind of wish that was in game one, but
it would have been nice, but whatever, it happens. It's so cool to see a no-hitter, even if it happens against you.
As that one misses. So 1-out walk for Cooper Loyal, and there are now runners on first and second for the Red Wings.
Good to have some traffic.
That'll bring up Andrew Eppinger.
Epp had a great game last game, too.
Yeah, Eppinger played good last game as well. So far tonight, he's 1 for 1 with 2 runs scored for you guys, 2 of the 3 runs, and he's walked in the first, came around to score, and singled in the fourth and came around to score. Eppinger, kind of, I say basically what had the play of the game, won you guys the game yesterday.
For sure.
Made that great diving grab out in right field, and threw the ball to Brendan Staubly at third and gunned out the runner for Auburn, turned it into a double play, which instead of 1 out, you guys are up 2 runs, runners on the corners. You got 2 outs and only a runner on first.
No, it saved the game for sure. And Epp hasn't been here that long. He's been here maybe a week or 2, but he's come in. He's been a spark plug right away for us.
As a member of the Division I New Jersey Institute of Technology teams, that one's hit out into right field. Michael Mugen making the play, and they're not going to send the runner to throw would have been well in time.
Yeah.
What a throw by Michael Mugen out there.
That was a great throw.
As I've made a couple calls for Michael Mugen throughout the summer, there was a play that was a hit out into left field that's actually loaded on the Pilots Instagram of me calling this. Christian Millola was on third base for the Double Days. It hit out to left field deep enough, like right about where Justin DiMartino is standing right now. Michael Mugen casually makes the play and gunned the throw. And I kid you not, one of the perfectest throws, like right down low and everything. Caught it, tagged Christian Millola for the Double Days is crazy fast, too.
Yeah, he's a speedster. You can't douche that type of arm talent there.
So Mugen will be playing Division I ball at Southeast Missouri State next year in the Missouri Valley Conference. As that one's lying down the third base line, that one's hit foul out of play. So 0-1 the count. Colt Bartling, after putting 2 runners on, looking to get out of the jam here for the Pilots and preserve that 5-3 lead.
Swid's smiling there after that swing, too. He knows he just missed that.
Swidler, and I was talking with Gannon about this as well, bases loaded. Ethan Swidler at the plate. Not an easy guy to get out by any means. And struck him out. And I believe it was a full count, too, or it was 2-2 or something. Full count.
It was 2-2 count. He threw a nice slider in the
Threw a nice slider, and it just tailed out at the last second, got Swither to swing. But he's very disciplined at the plate, calling out the games that I've called for you guys on the Pilots this year. I've had the chance to see him play quite a few times.
No, he knows what he's looking for, and he hits it when he gets it.
As that one misses. Counts at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning. Pilots lead the Red Wings 5-3. I'm joined by Alex Deutsch, number 23, and pitcher for the Geneva Red Wings. Pitcher in Game 1. So I had a chance to interview both pitchers from Game 1, starting pitchers for the Red Wings and Pilots. As that one swung on and hit out into right center field. And Michael Mugen,
He's playing deep.
He can just fly. I'm telling you, there was another play that with the Eppinger hit that ball down left field in Game 1, and Mugen can just fly. Him and Frankie DiMartino. I mean, the Pilots have guys that would speed that can field out there in the outfield. So Michael Mugen makes the play in F9 to end the top of the 5th. And in the bottom half, Pilots lead 5-3. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Red Wings and Pilots YouTube channels. We are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and both the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channel. I'm Kyle French, joined by Red Wings pitcher Alex Deutsch, who started in Game 1 and did really well for them, only giving up 1 run, but unfortunately final score 1-0. No hitter on the other side. It's just so hard, I feel like, as a pitcher, because offensively you don't have any say in what happens.
No, you're sitting there, but it was a good game. It was a quick game. It was fun to watch.
You certainly did more than enough to keep your team in that game last game, and the 1 run given up was an RBI single to Jack Polowitz, which was just a little bloop single over the second baseman's head. Yeah. So it's not even like it was like a home run or something like that. It was just a little bloop single.
Yeah, he got good one on it. It was I think it was like a 2-1 fastball, got in on him. But
as Michael Mugen hits that one right at the third baseman and a laser off his glove, that'll be a single for Michael Mugen.
For sure. Tough play to make there.
As that will now bring up Justin DiMartino. So Pilots have a leadoff base runner after the leadoff single from Michael Mugen. As Justin DiMartino stepping in. Brothers with Frankie DiMartino, the leadoff hitter for the Pilots here tonight, and both these guys can fly.
Yeah, there's a lot of speed on this Pilots team.
That one swung on and missed, but that one gets to the backstop. So a pass ball for Jason Shockley as Mugen advances to second. And DiMartino 0 for 2 on the night thus far. Reached on an E5 in the first inning and flew out to center field in his last at bat in the third. So 0 for 2, but looking for his first hit of the ball game. Second on this Pilots team coming into this game in batting average. That one taken on the outer half of the plate. Counts at 0 2 now to Justin DiMartino. Batting 342.
Yeah.
As he steps back in. The 0-2. Curveball. That one swung at and popped up. High curveball at that. And typically what you see with a high curveball popped up.
A lot of
You
pop.
get underneath it.
It's a tough pitch for a hitter, especially because you throw it as a pitcher and you kind of like, oh my God, I wish I didn't throw it there. But hitters kind of get frozen by it. Not much you can do with it.
See, the high curveball is probably one of the most hit or miss pitches. It's such a gamble because, I mean, you see guys like Clayton Kershaw who throw that 12-6 curve, and typically that's how it is. It starts so high and then just drops at the top half of the zone. But I'll tell you what, if a guy gets a hold of it and reads it right, that thing's going to go like 400 feet. That's
sure.
just, it's either going to be a crazy miss, a pop-up, or a 400-foot home run. I mean, I feel like I've never seen a ground ball from a high curveball.
No, it's definitely not something you can throw 2 times in a row. But every once in a while, you mix it in by accident or on purpose, and it'll get the job done.
As the sun all but setting there in left field. Beautiful sunset here.
Great day
Kickoff
for
at 10.
baseball.
We'll have
Ooh,
Mugen
close there.
sliding in safely. Great day for baseball, and can't complain. I mean, we were just hoping to get a game in earlier on in the week with all the rain that we've had lately, and that's upstate New York for you.
Yeah, nice welcome. Very pretty, though.
And you're from Connecticut, that's right?
I am, yes.
Whereabouts in Connecticut?
From Fairfield County.
Fairfield County, so
Yeah.
near the Fairfield Stags.
Exactly, yeah. I'm about 5 minutes from Fairfield.
Are they NEC? Or
They're in the MAC.
the MAC,
Yeah.
with 2 A's.
With 2 A's,
With
yes.
2 A's. No, I call that one the MAC.
Yeah, definitely not the middle, the one with like Ohio. Definitely not.
Yeah, has a
That's 1A,
University
I
of
think.
Buffalo in that.
It does, yeah. Bowling Green.
Miami, Ohio,
Yeah, that's a good
Western
conference.
Michigan, Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan, all the Michigans
All
that
the
aren't
Michigan
Michigan
schools.
State or Michigan.
Right.
That one's fouled off into the glove, and that will be
Great
strike
pitch.
3. So a fouled off strike 3 for Harris McReynolds. That one will count as a strikeout. Swinging with 2 outs, that'll bring up Jack Archimone for the Pilots.
As a pitcher, you can really get into cruise control a lot of the time. It's hard sometimes, but when you let up, a leadoff hit and then a pass ball and suddenly runners on second, that wakes you right up. Suddenly you start executing a little bit better.
As Jack Archimone, the designated hitter, 1 for 2 on the night, singled and scored in the fourth. First pitch misses off the outer edge of the plate. Counts at 1-0. I think you're always going to remember that now as the MAC, with 2 A's, the MAC.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm trying to remember where I heard that because I don't want to take credit for something that I didn't come up with, but I heard that from somewhere. As the count's at 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes, and 2 outs. Not trying to plagiarize by any means.
I'm just trying to see who's throwing in the pen right now for us. It looks like Carter Fink is getting loose.
So insider intel there. It looks like Carter Fink, the righty, warming up for the Red Wings down there in the pen.
Niagara commit.
Niagara University commit, the Purple Eagles, and he's from not too far away in Victor, New York.
Yep. Same with our shortstop today.
So 2 balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. Jack Archimone steps back in. The Pilots' leader in batting average at 333.
Yeah, I got to be careful here with an open base. Don't want to give him anything he can hit.
Actually, Archimone is now second in the team in batting average. DiMartino jumped him after the last game. I believe Archimone went 0 for 2 or 0 for 3 in that last game, game 1. But already singled and scored here, so looking to right the ship. The 3-1 pitch taken for a strike as he's letting the home plate umpire hear it.
He did not agree with that call.
Looked like it was close on the inside, but
Could have been a little in, but you never
the
know.
zone, I will say the zone has been consistent for the most part the entire game.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the zone in the first game. The second
That's the
zone
3-2
seems pretty
pitch.
good
That
too.
one misses low, and that will be a walk for Jack Archimone. He'll head to first.
It's a smart pitch there, though. You want to throw that changeup 3-2. See if he'll get him to go fishing.
As that one now will bring up Michael Flaherty, number 20 for the Pilots from London, England. So he'll step up with an opportunity.
Wow.
Yeah, so the tagline for the Pilots for the summer of 23, it's been the Pilots go international, summer of 23. We have Tatsunori Nagashi from Tokyo, Japan, and we have Michael Flaherty from London, England.
Wow, coming a long way to play Newark. It's pretty cool.
So 1 ball, no strikes, and certainly both Big Michael, what they call him, and Tots or Tatsu, whatever you want to call him, have been fan favorites here at Colburn Park.
I can tell you I was not a fan of pitching at top.
As that one eats up the third baseman, and that one gets out in the outfield, it's going to be an RBI E5.
When Jeremy's down, that looks like it got him bad. Took a tough hop on him. Might have caught him right in the wrist.
And that brings up from Jupiter, Florida, the third baseman, number 23, Tristan Head.
So 6-3 your score, and that'll now bring up Tristan Head. Looks like Jeremy Mangiamelli is shaken up. Appears to be all right now.
And that's a tough error to make there. Or to get called an error, because that's a tough play.
So Tristan Head coming up to the plate. Jack Archimone on second base for the Pilots. So 6-3 lead now for the Pilots. Six to 3 your score in the bottom of the fifth inning. After the E5. That one is hit out into right field. Underneath it is the right fielder, Eppinger, who makes the play in F9, but the Pilots pick up one more run on the E5 from Jeremy Mangiamelli, heading to the top of the sixth. 6-3 Pilots lead. Thanks for joining me, Alex. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for having
I'll see you tomorrow. If you want to join me as well, I'll be calling the game against Batavia. It will be John Salone night, as there will be a new name at McDonough Park. It'll be named John Sloan Field. We'll pay a tribute to him pregame. Rest in peace, John Salone. We'll be back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Newark Pilots and Geneva Red Wings YouTube channels. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channel, Jason Shockley stepping up to the dish for the Red Wings, the catcher. So far for him, 2 for 2 on the night, and he is responsible for all 3 RBIs for the Red Wings. Doubled with 2 RBIs in the first and single with an RBI in his last plate appearance in the fourth, as that one misses for a ball. Counts at 1-0. Colt Bartling out for another inning of work for the Pilots. So far for him in an inning, he's given up 1 hit, a walk, and a strikeout. Final stat line for Angelo Deere, the starting pitcher: 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 runs, and 5 strikeouts. The 1-0 pitch taken for a strike. Counts at 1-1 now. 1 ball, 1 strike, and no outs. Colt Bartling in the transfer portal, but played last season at East Central University. That one swung on and missed. Counts at 1-2 now. As that appears to either be Brantley Griggs or Cameron Kingsley warming up down there. I can't tell. Both have the long hair, long blonde hair, as that one misses. Counts at 2-2 now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and no outs to the leadoff man for the Red Wings in the top of the 6th. Jason Shockley. The 2-2 from Colt Bartling. Misses high. Counts at 3-2 now. 3 balls. It is Brantley Griggs down there warming up for the Pilots. From Savannah, Georgia. Places ball at Cayuga Community College. The 3-2. Swung on that one lined, and that one gets right over Briggs Loveland's head. That one's going to get into the gap. Shockley's going to round first and head towards second, and he'll be in for a leadoff stand-up double, his second double of the game. That's his second double of the game, third hit of the game, 3 for 3 for Jason Shockley. As that will now bring up the center fielder number 11, Parker Walsh. He's 0 for 1 on the night, hit by a pitch and left on base in his last at-bat in the 4th inning. As Daniel Steve's going to come out and chat with his pitcher, Colt Bartling. So, pitchers meeting between the whole infield, Coach Steve and Colt Bartling, who's on the mound for the Pilots. Bartling, the shortest one out of the group, as he is amongst the trees in there. As Parker Walsh will step up, face Colt Bartling. Batting .212 coming into the game. Game 2 of this doubleheader. Brantley Griggs still warming up down there. Imagine Bartling will have a short leash here with a 3-run lead for the Pilots, who are looking to win back-to-back games. This would actually be their 3rd straight victory for the Pilots. The pitch misses high. Count is at 1-0 now. All 3 of those victories would be 3 straight against the Geneva Red Wings. The 1-0. That one swung on and hit on a line to Michael Flaherty, who makes the play. The scoop not in time. Scored that one in L6 to Michael Flaherty. And there's one away. Good play from Michael Flaherty. As that will now bring up Wyatt Patchett, the designated hitter, number 26, 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Swinging on the night. He'll step back in. Patchett plays at the newly founded Division I program, Lemoyne, in Syracuse, New York. Saw him pitching in his first action pitching this summer with the Red Wings yesterday. Went an inning, gave up a home run to Riley Brody. That one misses inside, counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, and 1 out. And the top of the 6th inning, 6-3 your score. As the Newark Pilots lead the Geneva Red Wings, looking for their 3rd straight and looking to improve to 6-15 are the Newark Pilots. Bartling comes set. The 1-0 delivery from Colt. Taken at the knees, counts at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. And so far for the Pilots, undefeated in the month of July, 2-0. Bartling comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. Counts at 1-2. And Colt Bartling, after giving up the leadoff double to Jason Shockley, is settling in here in the top of the 6th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Bartling comes set. The 1-2 delivery. Swung on and missed. Fastball blown right by him for the 2nd out of the inning. Golden sombrero for Wyatt Patchett, his 3rd strikeout swinging of the game, as that will now bring up Jeremy Mangiamelli, who had the E5 to score that run in the last half of the 5th inning for the Pilots. Mangiamelli will step in. 0 for 2 on the night thus far. Struck out swinging in the 2nd and reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th inning. As Mangiamelli steps back in, first pitch misses a little high, counts at 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, and 2 outs. As Colt Bartling on the mound for the Newark Pilots from East Central University in Oklahoma. He's by way of Marietta, Oklahoma. Two 2-0 the count to Jeremy Mangiamelli. Colt Bartling coming set. The 2-0 pitch. That one misses inside. Count is at 3-0 now. 3 balls, no strikes, and 2 outs. Jason Shockley sits on second. The Rutgers Scarlet Knight. Red Wings down to their final 4 outs here as well. Pilots looking to sweep the doubleheader. That one taken at the knees. Counts at 3-1 now. 3 balls, 1 strike, and 2 outs. As Mangiamelli steps back in from Middlefield, Connecticut, plays at the University of Hartford. The 3-1. Swung on and fouled off into the net. Bartling fighting back after being down 3-0. It's evened up at 3-2. And CeeLo, Chris Lowe, joining me in the broadcast booth.
Good to be here, Frenchie.
No hitter in game 1. What was the atmosphere like in the clubhouse?
Listen, couldn't have happened to a better guy, Jack Gannon. He's been putting in the work. He's in the transfer portal, and if that doesn't open up some coaches' eyes, I don't know what will. I mean, unfortunately, I was helping out the children of Newark with a wiffle ball tournament.
That one popped up in the infield. Mangiamelli slams the bat. Nick Payne calling everyone off. The catcher making the play, a P2 to end the inning. Bartling, after a leadoff double, gets 3 straight outs. Heading to the bottom half of the 6th, Pilots up to bat. Red Wings are down to their final 3 outs. We'll be right back on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. As we are back here at historic Colburn Park, Pilots have a 6-3 lead over the Geneva Red Wings. As it looks like there is a pitching change for the Red Wings. It's number 29 on to pitch for them. So number 29 coming on to pitch for the Red Wings. That is Carter Fink from Victor, New York, Niagara University, as he'll come on to face Nick Payne.
The Pain Train.
The Pain Train. I'm joined by Chris Lowe, Emerson College, joining me.
Good to be here, Frenchie, as always.
as Chris Lowe is already gone from the press box, from the broadcast side of the press box. As Nick Payne steps in to face Carter Fink, first batter here in the bottom of the sixth. Pilots looking to add on some insurance here as they have a three-run lead currently. Couple of guys warming up in the pen for the Newark Pilots down there. First two pitches missed for balls. Counts at 2-0. The 2-0. That one swung on line right back to Fink off his glove. It's going to be a leadoff single for Nick Payne. As the Pilots looking to add some insurance here.
Now batting from Burleson, Texas, number 12, he is Brigham Loveland.
So Briggs Loveland, a.k.a. Brigham Loveland. So Brigham Loveland coming up to the dish now. And now I'm joined by Chris Lowe, color commentary, PA announcer, whatever you want to call him, pitcher for the Pilots, man of all trades.
I got a lot of, I don't know, tricks in the bag, I guess you could say. My hands are full here.
You wear many hats.
I do. My favorite
Kind of like
one-
me, in a way.
You are. Well, I mean, you got your hands full, buddy. But, you know, my favorite hat to wear is that Newark Pilots hat. Did you just shed a tear?
Maybe one or two.
Okay.
1 ball, 1 strike to your college teammate, Brigham Loveland.
Just
AKA
announced him.
Briggs.
Good old Briggsy.
As he steps in. Pilots looking to add some insurance here in the bottom of the sixth. That pitch misses outside. Counts at 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike for the relieving pitcher, Carter Fink. So far for him, has a 10.12 ERA and 2.2 innings of work for the Red Wings on the summer. This is his third appearance of the summer. Started 1 game for them. The 2-1. Misses above the letters. Counts at 3-1 now. 3 balls, 1 strike, and no outs. And Carter Fink is in danger of putting back-to-back runners on base with a dangerous bat. And the rest of the top of the order are waiting on deck. Frankie DiMartino sits on deck.
Pilots looking for 2 today. If they get it, it would be a 3-game win streak.
A big swing and a big miss from Briggs Loveland as he was looking to send that ball far.
Listen, Briggs plays one way. Hard.
Briggs does strike me as a hustle guy. He's always hustling out there at second base.
Always hustling.
That one almost hits him inside. He ducks out of the way. So back-to-back base runners, a single for Nick Payne and a walk for Brigham Loveland. As that will now bring up Frankie DiMartino.
The always dangerous DiMartino here. Stepping in the box. Looking to do some damage here. Give the Pilots a couple more insurance runs.
As Justin DiMartino is chanting for you, CeeLo.
Looks like I'm getting some chance here. You know, wouldn't be the first time I heard my name called in this ballpark.
Guess the Pilots dugout isn't too happy with Dom Camera with that PA announcing performance.
Was Don the one who announced it?
Well, it was Dom.
Okay, that explains why we were getting some jeers. Couple thumbs down towards the press box.
So back-to-back stolen bases for the Pilots. Nick Payne sits on third, and Briggs Loveland sits on second for the Pilots. And Frankie DiMartino steps in. Pilots looking to blow this thing wide open.
And, you know, Frankie's done a good job today. I believe, how many RBIs does he have? 1? He's knocked in a couple. Maybe
Frankie,
1.
1 RBI. He did reach on an E4 and then was called out on that questionable caught stealing. Look, it's just so hard when you're a guy as fast as Frankie and obviously the throw beat him to the bag, but
yeah,
he's like a gazelle, man. I mean, he slid into the base. Looked like he was safe. As that one's a little blooper over
there. We go.
1 more RBI, and here comes Briggs Loveland. A 2 RBI single for Frankie DiMartino, his 3rd RBI of the game. As that will now bring up Tatsunori Ngeshi for the Pilots. Tatsu coming up to the dish now for the Pilots.
Now batting from Tokyo, Japan, number 8 at first base, Tatsunori Nagishi.
So Tatsunori Ngeshi coming up to the plate now for the Pilots. Tatsu, whatever you want to call him. 1st pitch taken for a strike, counts at 0-1.
Tots, the Middle Tennessee product, a household name over on South Main Street. For those of you who don't know where that is the home of the Newark Pilots, the dorms.
In Geneva, New York. So that's why this game is that much more of a rivalry. Tatsu pops that one up left side. Mangiamelli makes the play for the out. So score that one in FF5. And that will now bring up Michael Mugen. So Michael Mugen coming up to the dish now for the Newark Pilots from Southeast Missouri State by way of Seaside, California.
Yes,
the Cali
sir,
boy.
Cali kid. And a heck of a ball player, too.
Man, I tell you what, he's made some really great plays defensively here tonight. I mean, the bat may have been struggling for the most part in the first game. He's 2 for 3 here tonight. And I just feel like between him and Frankie DiMartino, they're just like ball hawks out there. They can track anything down.
Listen, it takes difference makers to win in a league like this. And, these guys go out there and they make big time plays.
As Mugen got a hold of that one, but that one will go right in here. The pitcher warming up down there. Is that Pete Jocelyn? That's Walsh.
Oh,
Down there. DJ Walsh.
Michael Walsh seems to be warming up in the bullpen.
Pilots
Lefty?
now lead 8-3 after that 2 RBI double from Frankie DiMartino. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. 8-3 your score. Runner goes. The throw down in
Oh, my
time as it
goodness.
looked like Frankie DiMartino was safe.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to make the call to Rochester on that one. That's brutal.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what this umpire crew is seeing.
So after DiMartino was caught stealing, the Pilots will look to close this one out, up 5, 8-3, as we head into the bottom of the 7th.
On Finger Lakes One Radio and the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels. We'll be right back. As we are back here on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Pilots and Red Wings YouTube channels, I'm Kyle French. Brantley Griggs coming on in relief of Colt Bartling as he's looking just to finish this game out. No closing situation for him, no save situation as the Pilots lead by 5 runs, but looking to sweep the doubleheader, and no better time to do it. Brantley Griggs coming on. First pitch swung on and fanned out by Aller, fielding it at third as Tristan Had throwing over to first. 5-3 ground out for Aller, and there's one away. That will now bring up the extra hitter, Casey Burcroft. Eight to 3 your score. Casey Burcroft coming on to bat for the Red Wings. Popped up to Angel Deere in the 3rd inning and struck out swinging in the 5th. As that one misses outside, Pilots dugout yelling at this officiating crew. I can't say I really blame them. But 1-0 the count. 1 ball, no strikes, and 1 out. That one taken for a strike this time. One's across the top of the scoreboard. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out. 8-3 Pilots lead, and we're in the top of the 7th, the last inning of this doubleheader. That one swung on in the line foul. Counts at 1-2 now. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Bentley Griggs coming on in relief of Cole Bartling, looking to finish this one for the Newark Pilots. That one, and they're going to say he went around. Strike 3. Burcroft goes down, a second strikeout of the game. And it'll be at the top of the order. It'll be Brendan Jelpe with 2 away. Bentley Griggs with the top ERA on the team with a 1.08 ERA and 8.1 innings of work. Brendan Jelpe coming on. Red Wings down to their final out here. 8-3 your score, top of the 7th. Can they close it out? The pitch swung on and missed. Beautiful breaking pitch from Brantley Griggs. Counts at 0-1. And Pilots are 2 strikes away from closing out this doubleheader and sweeping it with a no-hitter from Jack Gannon in game 1 and an 8-3 victory. Another pitch and another swing and another miss. Brantley Griggs has got it humming. 0-2 the count. No balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Top of the 7th. Red Wings down to their final strike of the evening. The 0-2. Curveball. Brantley Griggs was walking off the field, and that one looked like it dropped in last second. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count to the leadoff man, Brandon Jelpe. First batter in this lineup. Griggs coming set. The 1-2 pitch. That one misses low. And they're going to say he didn't go around. 2-2 the count now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pilots are a strike away. At this point, it feels like they are prolonging the inevitable. The 2-2 delivery. That one swung and popped up. Infield. Briggs loving underneath it. Makes the play. P4 to end the inning. The Pilots sweep the doubleheader. They win this one 8-3 and improve to 6-15. Pilots, 3 straight wins for them, are looking to turn their season around and make a late playoff push for the Red Wings. They fall to 5-14 against this Newark Pilots club. So we will see you guys tomorrow on Finger Lakes One Radio and the Geneva Red Wings YouTube channel as the Pilots take on the Batavia Muck Dogs. First pitch 7:05 p.m. The Red Wings take on the Muck Dogs at 7:05 p.m. It'll be John Salone night at historic McDonough Park, so make sure you tune in as they rename the ballpark in honor of the late, great John Salone. We'll see you guys there tomorrow. Batavia will be calling that game on Finger Lakes One Radio. The Pilots got the day off tomorrow. We'll be back on Friday to face the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. Could be a doubleheader. We'll let you know. And we will see you next time on Finger Lakes One Radio, the Pilots YouTube channel, and the Geneva Red Wings YouTube channel. I'm Kyle French. As always, thanks for tuning in. The Pilots win 8-3. See you next time.